Welcome to JSR Garage, where winter has come. I'm not sure how well this picks up on camera, but yeah, I can sort of see now it's snowing. And everything's slippery. It is, as of right now that I'm filming this, October 4th. And, well, I don't know when this is going to come up. But like I said, it is October 1st. And it is the first time this year, well, of course it was snowing earlier. In January and February and March, April, May. But this is the first time after the summer that I have seen snowfall during the day. We've had it during the night, kind of like this, but this is the first time during the day. And on other news, you saw me just pass the Granada, and if you saw the last video, you know the turbo tank's back. Sorry, I still have some issues. The turbo tank's back, and the owner of the turbo tank also owns the Audi, the turquoise kind of Audi A4. He came, he sent me a message and said he was coming to pick up 3 of the the buckets off of the turbo tank because he needed them on his Audi for winter. So, we kind of ended up on a deal where I got 2 of them for, just for the winter. They're going back on the turbo tank. But I needed a couple of lights that would light up a little bit further than those 7-inch square things will. So I bolted them up to the bumper. They are on brackets. There already were brackets, actually. You can see these 2 here. Those were in the bumper, and there were already 2 brackets pointing straight out like these 2, as well as an extra couple of holes on either side. There's also a relay in there, a New Era light relay that has been on this thing forever. I don't know when it got there. It was there when I got this car. And that switch up there, that is an original Ford extra high beam, spotlight switch. That also worked. First time I've had extra lights on this thing, so I didn't really know if it would work, but it did. Of course, it's still on summer tires. I'm gonna have to get that fixed. Oh, another thing. It is a little bit of a personal note, because I'm a little bit strapped for cash right now, and, I've been that pretty much all year. And if you remember, this spring or early summer, I installed a 2.6 in this thing. And, I couldn't really afford antifreeze, so I just filled it up with water. And that water is still in it. And now that it's coming to be sub-freezing, because, it's 1 below 0 right now, centigrade. And, I know it's been a little bit colder during the nights. It's been 4, 4.5, 5 negative. And, I don't want to crack the block. I don't want to freeze. I still don't have the money for antifreeze, so, I'm just gonna have to let this thing drain out so it doesn't crack and freeze. But still, I am gonna have to put the winter tires on this thing before more snow comes, because, it's already looking like this. This driveway, it's awful. I tried fixing some of it up there with a digger, but it didn't really help a lot, because the ground here is all clay. So spring comes around, it'll get soggy, wet. I even sunk the Granada this spring up there. Just up there, it sank down to on the rockers. And that was at speed. It just went up there, got around this turn, it started kind of slowing down, and then there it just stuck. And it was literally down to the rockers. All the way, front to back, on the rockers. And the wheels were sunk down about, well, you can see about how high it is to the rockers. It was just sunk down. So, the road, luckily now, is going to freeze, so it's going to be solid. There's a bunch of rocks in the ground. It's just clay and rocks. So I'm going to have to hope that I can get up the road, well, the driveway, because the grass is going to be so slippery that I can't get up it. I've noticed during the summer I've had issues going up that one, going up in the Granada on the grass with the summer tires on, because it's spinning. Now, yeah, I am dressed to be a lot colder than I am. It's a flannel shirt with a wool inlay, a nice big furry jacket, big hat, and gloves. But I have told you guys once before, at least once before, that I've had third-degree frostbite on 8 out of my 10 fingers. These 2 are the only ones that weren't affected by that. So I am a cold person. So kind of need the heat. But my plan for right now was to go get some firewood. And since that is in the little garage that is behind the other house, it's a long way to walk during the winter, especially carrying big bags of wood. So I was thinking I was going to take the Land Rover and fill the back of it with wood and place it on the terrace, well, patio, whatever you want to call it. So I've gotten the Land Rover full of wood, and if I sound exhausted, it is because I am. Now, of course, the Land Rover, being old and British, has the infamous Lucas electrical system, which on this car particularly sometimes make it not want to start on the key. You turn the key on, everything works, everything's fine. You turn it to start, and the starter engages itself, starts spinning, but it's not spinning and punching itself out onto the flywheel, so it just spins the starter around, and nothing happens. Now, of course, this being British, they've thought of that. So it has provision for a crank start. It has the hole in the bumper, it has the hole in the frame, it has the snout on the crankshaft to put the crank into, and of course it has the crank. So that is what I had to do, but that's not the easiest thing in the world to do, because you have to set the choke, of course, to where you think it'll run. Key on, take the crank, put it in. Now, getting it in is a debacle of its own, because you have to lean down under the car as you put it in to see if you actually hit it. Then it's the cranking. And when this thing's cold, it's definitely not easy to crank over. You have to use a lot of muscle to turn it halfway around, and then it gets to the point where none of the pistons are on very much compression. So it kind of has a hard spot and then free. And then hard spot and free. And hard spot and free. Now, if you don't have this in muscle memory, you'll use a lot of muscle to get it over the hard spot where it's on compression, and then it's onto nothing. And then you suddenly hit a hard spot again, and it stops you dead, and it's not easy. And then, of course, if it wants to fire but doesn't quite, it just blips it back into your wrist, and your wrist hurts. But yeah, I did get it fired, and I get it full of wood, so let's just get this nice little load inside the house and get a fire in the oven. Alright, so the first armful of wood is inside. Let's see if we can get some of this to burn. And of course, birch is a nice thing to set a fire with, because this burns really well. And, well, some nice pieces like this. But of course, we have to have a little helper. With the sawmill being right next to us, I have some nice access to some old sawdust. This is off of, well, something. And I've doused it with diesel fuel, which burns really nicely, obviously. So, putting that in there, you can see it's starting to smoke as there are some embers in the oven already, because I did set a fire this morning with the remnants of the railing on the porch. So there, set that on fire. Take this nice birch piece and put it kind of like that, and then I think there was some nice flat piece in here, like this one. Put that on top of this again. Put the door almost shut. Let that catch a bit better on fire. And there, now we might get some heat up in here. So I'm gonna go carry the rest of that wood inside. Well, there the final load is in. That thing is now completely full. Fire is raging nicely in the oven. Turn the air down a lot so that I can just lay in there an ember. Temperature inside here right now, if it'll pop up on camera, it's 22. Or thereabout. Now it's just to clean up the mess on the floor and get that Land Rover started again. I think I'm gonna need the crank again. Well, there I've gotten the floor nice and cleaned up. So let's see if I was right about this thing gonna need a crank start again. Main power. Of course, now the engine has ran a little bit, so there might be a chance that this thing won't start. Not at all. So we'll leave the ignition on, choke about there. That'll be really high idle. And I'll just see if I can get this set up somewhere that I can film it. So it fired eventually. Now it's just to drive it back down and park it, and well, that'll be it for this time and the snow drifts. on October 4th. Norway. It's not all the midnight sun, mountains, fjords you hear about. You also get weather like this in October. At least when you're in this part of the country. So, like, comment, and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.